Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to our finals weekend bout. We're going to be having three great matches this weekend. We started with a group of 10 teams, incredible teams, and now we're down to three. My name's Andrew Blanchard. I'm the tournament director here at State Champs eSports. And first thing I want to do, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. We have Army Michigan, Hungry Howie's, and Lawrence Tech. We'll be seeing some commercials from them throughout the day, so stay tuned. They prepared a lot of great stuff for us. So I wish I was here, joined by Joel Graves. He should be joining us later this evening for our losers grand finals. We're coming at you today with the winners semifinals. This will be our first match of the day between East Kentwood Black and East Kentwood Red. Now, I'm hoping this match will show some great gameplay between these two rivals in their own high school. It's looking to be a great setup. It's our number 1 seed team and I believe our number 3 seed team. So I want you guys to stay tuned with us as we bring you that gameplay and everything that goes along with it. So we should be getting ready to load into the game here in just a minute. So bear with us. And I believe we are good to go. So here we are with East Kentwood Black and East Kentwood Red. Oh, looks like we're having some difficulties getting getting it started here. Sorry folks, bear with me. Well, you got me again. So, we're just gonna try to see if we can get this started up. Uh, Not sure why we can't get the gameplay coming in for you guys. Hmm. I apologize for this, everyone. We had it all prepared in just before we went live. Everything was ready to go, uh, and ready to launch. And now it seems that as soon as we need to actually show you guys gameplay, we can't bring it. So I apologize for this. I'm going to step away here for a moment and throw you back to some tunes. Give me just a moment while we try to get this all situated. Looks like we are back, ready to go. Sorry about all of that, and everything. As we're jumping here into Champion Select, looks like we just had some little issues getting the footage to go ahead and get into Champ Select. So we see an early Wukong ban, Gnosis ban to match. Now these two teams have probably played each other more than half the teams in our league have played each other. Coming from the same school, East Kentwood on the west side of the state. The team East Kentwood Red, we've seen them for the last few years here at State Champs Esports. They competed with us, starting each one of them in their freshman year of high school, and this is now their third year competing with us. They've finished top 4 nearly every time they've competed, always in our Division 1. This team here is really top level gameplay when we see them on the Rift. And across from them, East Kentwood Black is their first year competing with us this year, and they have taken it by storm. They absolutely styled on people in Division 1, including East Kentwood Red. Both these teams have beaten each other throughout the regular season, and it ended up with East Kentwood Red being our number 1 seed and East Kentwood Black being our number 3 seed, just because of how tiebreakers worked out between these two teams and our other team, Team Loyalty. So as we wrapped up bands here, East Kentwood Black banned Wukong, Trundle, and Zillion, while East Kentwood Red finished out with a Nasus, Katarina, and Victor ban. First pick Fiora, assuming that should be going to the top lane, known as a really great carry potential. So we'll be seeing if East Kentwood Black can draft around, and they look like they did. Yuumi, great enabler for Fiora in the side lanes around dragon fights as they transition from that Yuumi bot carry to the carry in the mid to late game on the Fiora. We might see that paired with an Ezreal. Ezreal Yuumi, very strong in the meta right now, one of the top tier bot lanes that you can pick. And across from them, East Kentwood Red picking the stock standard Xayah Rakan bot lane. Very, very easy to play, very straightforward lane. These two champions pair very well together and have a ton of potential both in the lane, outside of the lane, and as you transition into the late game. Rakan can get a ton of roams in and pairs great with the Olaf at engaging onto that back line, trying to blow up the carries before Yuumi's able to sustain and heal them back up. As we move into the second round of bans, looks like they're going to be targeting the AD carry pool on East Kentwood Red due to them not picking that in the first round. I think that's probably the smart thing to do here. There are champions that pair better with the Yuumi, other champions that the AD is probably more comfortable with, and with them not needing to worry about that anymore, they can go ahead and target out that Jinx. And a Kassadin looks like just to throw some safety their way so they don't have to deal with that scaling pick when they already have to deal with the Yuumi and the Fiora as well as the Zac engage. We see a Renekton bully top lane banned out, probably looking to keep it away from focusing on the Fiora early game and keeping her down, or potentially, snowballing that matchup where Fiora really wants to get ahead so she can transition into the side lanes. And we see another side lane pick being hovered here, Jax. Just as good as Fiora sometimes in the side lane. Very strong in the one-on-one. Not as strong as Fiora as a duelist, but just about as good as a duelist as you can get if you don't have the Fiora. We'll see what East Kentwood Black decides to bring in here for the mid lane and for their AD carry. It's like no hover here. I expect to see most likely an Ezreal, a Ziggs. All right. Wonder where the Ziggs is going to be going. Could be Ziggs Yuumi bot lane maybe? And a Morgana hover. Okay, so now we're all kinds of thrown around here. So Ziggs most likely going here in the mid lane. And we might have a Morgana Yuumi bot looking to just sustain and stop the bot lane from going in. This looks like they are putting every egg in the Fiora carry basket. This has everything to do with Ziggs and Morgana and Zac looking to just hold out on a single lane, while Yuumi and Fiora in the mid to late game can just split push a side lane unstoppably. We got the Cassiopeia last pick in for East Kentwood Red. Very strong mid game champion. Very strong late game carry from the mid lane. We see the team swapping around their picks here a little bit. Looks like Ziggs queued up to go to the top lane. And we might be seeing a Fiora mid. They've got until 20 seconds left here to lock in their selections. No more swapping around after 20 seconds. It looks like we might have seen a swap of roles. Okay, it looks like we did. Unless we have a Zac support Morgana jungle. It looks like their jungler will be playing support this time. And their jungler, oh, another swap around. So it should have been locked in. We'll have to have a chat with the teams after this. But we will be seeing Zac jungle, Morgana support, Yuumi as the bot lane carry. Now we're going to be going here into commercials. So give us just a moment. We'll be back with some gameplay in just a second.
I'm on the Blue Devil football team, and that's a great place to be, because other colleges wouldn't let me be both a football player and a nursing student. And just because I'm a dog on the field doesn't mean I can't take care of people. And man, do I love people. The small class sizes at LTU give me awesome access to my nursing professors. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
How you doing? My name is Son First Class Adams.
Hey, what's up, Detroit? I'm Staff Sergeant Stevens. If you're within the age of 17 to 34, if you look for a job without any experience, we can teach you everything you need to know. Come be a part of the team.
And where you can locate us at is on goarmy.com/Michigan.
And our phone numbers is 586-774-0218 or 517-214-8542.
Go Army.
We saved $85.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Alright, we're back and loading onto the Rift as we speak with East Kentwood Black versus East Kentwood Red. East Kentwood Black here on the blue side and East Kentwood Red on the red. Easy. So, as we saw through the champion select, we've got Yumi Morgana coming in for the bot lane for East Kentwood Black. I'm be interested to see how this matchup plays out. Now, these two champions are both very annoying in their own rights, as we see an invade onto the top side here from East Kentwood Red. I don't think they're going to run into anybody. Might end up with just a few deep wards. So no worries here about some early action, as East Kentwood Black is completely stacked up on the bot side. But Yumi and Morgana both have a lot of potential to deny what AD carries and other bot lanes want to do inside the laning phase. With Morgana's Black Shield stopping Xayah's Root and Rakan's Knockup, Rakan's Charm, and the Root itself just stopping any kind of forward momentum that the lane wants to do to try to push for a kill. Yumi able to sustain the lane back up if they do end up taking any poor trades in the early to mid-late laning phase. As we're seeing a second invade here onto the bot side. Looks like going to be clearing out some wards, trying to aggress onto the weak early game that Yumi Morgana offers. Not a ton in the terms of damage. See a root down onto the Rakan, just some damage traded back. And it looks like it's going to be a red buff going over early to the Xayah. That is huge for this lane, getting an early EXP advantage and some early jungle pressure on the Zac so he can't make nearly as many plays as he's going to want to. But we see the Fiora bullying out the Jax here in the top lane as we transition over to the mid lane. Now the Fiora Jax matchup should go handedly into the Fiora's favor if she can get the early procs off on the Vitals while Jax isn't doing his Counter-Strike. And it's all onto the Jax to make the outplays in this lane. Fiora's going to be able to poke on him early, over and over again as Jax tries to sustain himself in that lane. We're going to see just some standard Yumi poke in the bot lane, and it's just going to be this over and over again. Fiora's going to want to go in and proc those Vitals. Jax is going to want to answer with the Counter-Strike whenever we can. We see an engage onto the Yumi. Yumi jumps onto the Morgana. Some huge damage traded back, and an early Zac passive popped by the Olaf as he invades into the jungle. He knew that Zac was already down and it's going to be low on health as he didn't get that red buff early. No early levels means no early clear pressure from the Zac, and an easy invade from the Olaf. Just seeing some poke going back and forth, looking to get as much pressure as we can. A little tower dive from the Rakan, but easy out with his E back onto Xayah. The range of that being increased when the two are paired together. So we can see an easy W in, E out whenever the Rakan wants, assuming the Morgana Black Shield is down. As Fiora pushes Jax under his tower here, probably looking to take a recall, get some items, restock. Looks like we're just going to see continued pressure, getting the Scuttle Crab on the bot side as the top laners continue to trade back and forth amongst themselves. Now what I want to see here is exactly what East Kentwood Red went for. They've got a ton of early pressure here on the Olaf. He's going to be able to invade whenever he wants, bully out the Zac, as long as he has vision of East Kentwood Black's laners. As long as the East Kentwood Black laners are in lane, Olaf has free reign to walk into any part of East Kentwood Black's jungle and go ahead and just start taking those camps away from Zac. Keeping the Zac down, making sure the Zac can't get off any early game ganks that might swing this matchup in their favor, as East Kentwood Black top lane is doing everything it can to stabilize this matchup. Now, like we said in Champ Select, East Kentwood Black's team comp here is all about sustaining and stemming the bleeding in the other 2 lanes, while Fiora gets as much of an advantage as she can. She's going to want to transition as much of a lead as she can gain in the top lane into the side lanes when we move into the mid-game team fights around the dragon, to try to make sure East Kentwood Red is pulled in every direction they can. We got another here, quick engage from the Rakan, denied by the Black Shield, and he missed. So we won't see any action there. Another E out, and he is all kinds of safe. More trading. Looks like we had a ward placed down for a quick ward hop from the Jax. Next reason it's sitting there. If you don't know, Jax has the ability to jump to allied and enemy units with his leap strike. He can place down wards and it'll give himself a free escape as long as that Q is up and as long as he has a ward ready to go. And we're just seeing some stock standard farming here in the mid lane. Nothing too impressive. Cass up just a little bit of farm on the Ziggs, but likewise we see that reflected in the top lane with Fiora being up just a couple farm on the Jax. The real pressure here is coming in the bot lane. That's where all of this gold advantage is being generated. We've got 48 to 24 farm. Looks like Morgana is going to be the farming carry in the bot lane. And with such a huge advantage, East Kentwood Red is going to hope to transition that into early dragons and early map control on the bot side. We're going to probably see Olaf moving down here into the dragon pit as East Kentwood Red has East Kentwood Black's bot lane pushed in. And we'll be able to see them transition. Yep, looks like Olaf is starting up the Drake here, as both mid and bot have been pushed in with little to no priority on their end. Zac has been kept down most of the early game through Olaf's very, very high pressure invades, even getting that early cellular regeneration out. And there it is, Ocean Drake picked up for East Kentwood Red. Early Ocean Drake means some easy sustain for the Cassiopeia in lane, and hopefully some extra help in stabilizing that top lane for the Jax, so he doesn't stem out any more of the CS and lead to the Fiora. But Fiora has been playing this matchup very well, getting good poke on them. We see a quick invade here from the Olaf. He's just going to blast over. Now he's got to be careful here as he is full into their jungle. Oh, Ragnarok popped. Last axe, easy first blood for the Olaf, and it looked like no answer even came out from East Kentwood Black's bot lane, who could have rotated over and given up some farm, given up some levels to maybe try to give the Zac a black shield, some CC, some healing. We see the grand challenge answered by the Fiora onto the Jax. It looks like just going to get 2 vitals, pop out. No full 4 vitals procs there, no true damage. And Jax lives to tell another tale in the top lane. Now that we've seen Olaf get the early kill onto Zac, Olaf can look to continue this high pressure jungling style that he's been doing. Jax pressures the Fiora, pushes her in after her ult's down. He knows he has a little bit of priority there with his ult giving him the armor. We're going to see the Scuttle Crab picked up and possibly a move onto an early Rift Herald. That would be huge in the terms of East Kentwood Red to continue to push this gold advantage that they've accrued early. But we're just going to see an invade on the blue. And Smite goes the way of East Kentwood Red. More damage traded onto Zac. Another cellular regeneration pop. And this is going to be another easy kill given over to the Olaf. Very straightforward gameplay here from the Olaf. And they'll transition this over to the Rift Herald that the bot lane has started up as they transitioned over to the top lane. So East Kentwood Red employing a pretty stock standard strategy that the LCS pros take. Right around 10 minutes, you're going to see the bot lane transition to the top lane so that they can pressure the Rift Herald and continue to gain an advantage. And hopefully stymie this bleeding that they've accrued. We see an ult from the Rakan, an engage, look for a dive. Rakan goes down. Fiora's going to get some heals here. Let's see if she can outplay us anymore. Nope. we get a kill here for East Kentwood Red. One traded back. So that is going to be a traded kill. Good on the Fiora to find that kill, though. Easily reposting the engage from the from the Xayah early on in that trade, and getting some decent damage down, and a quick kill there for East Kentwood Red onto the Fiora as well. I apologize. I was casting my my view feed that's just a couple seconds ahead of what you guys are seeing. But like I said, we did see the Rift Herald taken down. The mid laner moves up so that they can't take that turret. But we saw the Rift Herald drop some early turret plates going over to the Olaf and to the Xayah, just really gaining that. Oh, and another kill here, just straight up 1v1 from the cast onto the weakened early game Zac here. We saw his passive popped earlier in the jungle where Olaf and Jax were able to get a kill on him. And Cass answers with an easy kill as it looked like Zac was trying to just stop the Cass from hitting the tower. So as we transition here out of the laning phase and into the early mid game, we're going to try to see Jax get some farm built back up on him as he sits in the mid lane. Not a ton of kill pressure here available for the Yuumi Morgana. All that they're going to be looking to do is lock down a champion. And with Rakan shadowing the Jax, they're never going to really have the opportunity to go full in on the damage. And it looks like the early gold that Xayah has accrued, they're going to try to take that into the Fiora matchup solo. Now, I don't necessarily think that is the strongest strategy. Fiora is still an extremely strong duelist, and Xayah is still a couple levels down just due to the nature of being in the duo bot lane in the early game. So Fiora is more than likely going to be able to pressure Xayah, even though Xayah has the range advantage in that matchup. You're going to see Jax take a recall here and head off to the top lane. Looks like bots just trying to fish for some recalls, make sure that Jax isn't still sitting around there looking to engage on them. As we transition back to our general lanes, Jax has been able to get some gold to himself. Looks like another counter strike going all in. Fiora's ult goes down. 1, 2, 3, 4 vitals proc. Healing received, and easy kill there for the Fiora onto the Jax. Just going to get that snowball going even faster as these Kentwood Red pick up their second dragon of the game, engage onto the Zac. Another passive down, another dead Zac, and there goes the Yuumi as well. Luckily, East Kentwood Red was able to pick up a trade kill there on the Rakan over the wall from the Ziggs. That should help make up some of the early loss as we see the Cass all early in and just absolute damage pouring out from the Cassiopeia. Another kill going over to her onto the Ziggs, keeping them down even longer. This game is shaping up to be exactly what it was called in the Champion Select. Every single egg in East Kentwood Black right now is in the Fiora carry basket. If this Fiora can't find a way to extend her lead out of this top lane, East Kentwood Black is going to be looking at a serious disadvantage as Cass gets another 1v1 kill onto the Zac. The Zac now 0-5, unable to do much of anything in this game as we see the bot lane trading back and forth, a couple ults used, nothing too much. Like I said earlier, Yuumi Morgana very good at keeping a bot lane down from what they want to do. When they are solo played as support, we see them paired here together as a bot lane carry duo, and it is just exacerbated. Jax here getting some alone time on the tower, getting some plates to himself, getting some gold, as we see Olaf move up here to help Jax pull down that tower so that he can move forward with his game plan of just not, losing out. As we see Fiora over the wall, ult onto the Olaf, 1, 2, 3 vitals blocked, kill onto the Olaf, and some more healing onto the Fiora. And it looks like she is going to do a great job of segueing her advantage into this mid game as she goes onto the Jax as well. Jax tries to use the Ziggs as a out and not going to be able to do much of anything. Another kill put on to the Fiora as we see the story of two lanes, really. You've got the top lane and then everything else for East Kentwood Red. Bot lane is doing great. Mid lane is doing great. We've seen a number of solo kills from the Cassiopeia. An engage here from Zach with Ziggs in the wing. We see the ult, Zig slows, Zig knockback, ult from the Cassiopeia to disengage, flashes away, Rakan comes in, ult, misses the grand entrance, and looks like that will be all she wrote for the mid-game team fight. Fiora is looking for an early hit onto the Xayah. Xayah gets pulled away, tries to get the cheeky root onto the Fiora, but is unable to do so as we see Yumi's on top of the Fiora. Yumi ult, but Olaf's able to get that final axe straight through the Fiora. Yumi's got nowhere to go. Axe into his face. Oh, looks like the carries came around. Zach came around to give Yumi an out. Yumi attached to the Zach. Zach ease out, and Yumi lives with just a sliver of health. But huge kill, huge shutdown going the way of the Olaf onto the Fiora. That's going to be huge for East Kentwood Red as they transition. They're really looking to get as many of these, simple segue kills onto Fiora to make sure she's as delayed as she can. But we saw the power of Yumi Fiora there. We saw the Fiora go in onto Xayah. Xayah had the ability to get under tower, but looked for the cheeky pullback on the root on her feathers to get the root onto Fiora under tower and wasn't able to do so. Ult from Cassiopeia here. Easy run down from the Fiora as we see the stopwatch out of Morgana buying her some time. And East Kentwood Red is just going to transition their top lane pressure here into a second Rift Herald to try to get even more gold. And while East Kentwood Red does have a 3k, 4k gold advantage on East Kentwood Black, mainly due to the jungle, mid, and bot lane gold advantage that were accrued early, we see time and time again this Fiora moving into the side lanes, getting kills, and answering every play that East Kentwood Red has tried to throw her way. We did see that one slip up where she dove a little too hard on the Xayah, and East Kentwood Red was able to get an answer kill. But that doesn't really necessarily slow down everything Fiora is doing, as she's going to look to transition here, most likely onto the dragon if she can get a pick here in the jungle. East Kentwood Red starting up the Drake. Rakan over the wall. He's in the absolute wrong place as Fiora goes over and picks up her 7th kill of the game. Zach moves in, Fiora's in. This should be an easy Infernal pickup for East Kentwood Black, just further increasing Fiora's damage throughout this game and giving Ziggs a little more agency to wave clear in the mid lane, which is really what the rest of the team is looking to do. Morgana, Zach, Ziggs just going to be sitting here in the mid lane, hoping to clear these waves before they can reach tower. If they do reach tower, dropping the Morgana pool underneath the waves as Ziggs clears it with his bouncing bombs and satchel charge. Now, as we look to the mid game here, we want to see the East Kentwood Black team making some kind of play outside of the lane. They want to make sure that East Kentwood Red is constantly devoting more resources to mid lane than they are to the side lane, so that Fiora can continue to struggle to excel there. We see an engage here from the Zach, the last clean shot onto the Cassiopeia. Rakan comes in, casts ult down, grand entrance does hit this time with a kill picked up from the Cassiopeia. Not what East Kentwood Black was looking to see here, as we see the Rift Herald dropped in the top lane, another tower going down to the Olaf Jax. These two champions are so strong if they get access to the tower. Looks like they weren't able to kill out on the Rift Herald, giving the Rift Herald another push, but nobody's answering the Fiora, who has gone bot inner and now bot inhibitor turret. Down 2 kills. We see a TP coming in from the Jax, but already the entire bot lane duo is dead as Yumi and Fiora just can continue to sustain and engage, and a triple kill coming out from the Fiora as they pull another kill onto the Cassiopeia in the mid lane. everything going East Kentwood Black's way. Here in the last minute of gameplay, we see Fiora now engaging onto the the first Nexus turret with a teleport coming out from the Ziggs. This is a 3-person stack onto the Nexus turret, and it looks like they are going to be backing away a little bit, not looking to pressure any further. But this sets up everything that East Kentwood Black wanted to have. Fiora in the side lane, Yuumi sitting up on the Fiora. She goes 2 towers, an inhibitor, a 3rd tower with 3 kills, while the rest of East Kentwood Black were able to pick up the straggling team as they tried to figure out how to answer this. East Kentwood Red pulling too many resources into the mid lane and the top lane. Just what I said East Kentwood Black wanted to have them do. They didn't want any of these resources to be devoted to wave clearing the Fiora, stopping her tower diving, and exactly what happened? Fiora was able to get under that tower dive, and get some early kill pressure onto the bot lane, killed them off, got the inhibitor. So we're going to be looking now. Full inhibitor down in the bot lane is going to mean that somebody is going to be on full clear wave duty there. We see Fiora's now going to transition, as it looks like East Kentwood Red is looking to make a surprise play here on the Fiora. No vision here. Ragnarok in, early damage down on the Fiora. Riposte was, stun was blocked by the riposte. Yumi's able to offer all the heals onto the Olaf. Olaf is dead. Fiora then moves her pressure over to the Jax. Rakan is stuck in here trying to save the Jax. Rakan's dead. Another double kill onto the Fiora. And this is just a little disgusting, folks. 12-2 on this Fiora. She has everything she wants as she pushes down another turret here in the top lane. And the rest of EK Black look to take the mid lane turret. Now, I don't know who here can answer. Fiora's going deep. 3-man onto the Fiora. She just jumps away. Cast ult down. Riposte, Counter-Strike down. Zaya's pull, root down. Zach goes in just to get his cellular regeneration pop. Ziggs ult down. Zaya's going to have to back here if she doesn't want to get absolutely one-shot by the Fiora. Ziggs moves, takes another turret here in the mid lane. Fiora's onto the tower, or the inhibitor, and there is nothing that East Kentwood Red can do here. Fiora all onto the Cassiopeia, not able to get all 4 charges off, and they're able to dump everything into Fiora. Finally, 4-man stack onto the Fiora. They're able to get the Yuumi and the Fiora. Huge shutdowns coming in. Another kill onto the Ziggs. And let's see what East Kentwood Red can do with this small advantage that they've gained for themselves. We've got small death timers, as it's still only 22 minutes into the game. Short death timers here. East Kentwood Red is going to want to transition, hopefully it looks like, into a Baron. We'll see if Olaf and Cass can duo this Baron. They are probably going to get a late start here. And hopefully get some DPS down. But Fiora is spawning in just a second. Ziggs shortly after that. Now while Red is looking to take that Baron, it looks like Black is trying to get the cheeky dragon, and Red was trying to get them out, but Fiora comes in with the TP, pushes out the rest of East Kentwood Red, allowing East Kentwood Black to at least have a small trade of a second Infernal Dragon, just furthering Fiora's damage here, Yumi's damage, Ziggs damage, as East Kentwood Black looks to make the final push here, likely into the base. Now, good news for East Kentwood Red that they do have the Baron, which means pushing these minions into the base is going to be much harder, as we see an engagement on the Fiora onto the Cassiopeia. Nothing the Cassiopeia could do there. No vision means no knowledge, and another death here for the mid laner. Fiora goes another kill here. 3 champions all stacked up onto the Fiora. We'll see if they can get them. Fiora's down. Zac goes in. Yumi's onto the Zac. Olaf is about to be killed here, but Olaf's able to survive. 3 kills for East Kentwood Red, 2 for East Kentwood Black. Fiora picks up 2, and it looks like they went just a little hard without the rest of the team ready to go there. Now, if you make that exact same play, and Zac is able to jump in before East Kentwood Red is able to 4-man the Fiora, then it's going to be a completely different fight. Most likely a wipe in the side of East Kentwood Black and the game being over and a win for them. But instead we see Fiora going in, getting the early kill, early pop onto Cass, and pushing her advantage maybe just a little farther than she could. And we're going to be able to see East Kentwood Red stabilize a little bit longer. Now, of course, we say stabilize here, and East Kentwood Red has held the gold advantage this entire game. From the early invade onto the jungle, getting the early red buff, from the early pressure on the bot lane, from all of the jungle invades, from the easy 1v1 kills from the Cassiopeia onto the jungler. As we look to see Cass in the side lane, she has no idea what's coming. Fiora in again, doesn't even need the ult, pops it anyway. Easy kill onto the Cassiopeia. Sadly, that TP is not one you can cancel. We see 3 people stacked up again on the Fiora, as Fiora just looks to run away here. Just dash after dash. Yuumi ult used to root up the team, and that's it. She's out. 1 kill for the Fiora, and she's learned to not take air advantage too much farther. Now she's back to full health. Yumi's healed her up. She's ready to go. She's got her death stance. She's got her Hydra, all of the procs, all of the healing, and the whole team sent down to deal with the Fiora means that the 3 other members of the Morgana, Zac, and Ziggs are able to just push down the top lane inhibitor turret and the top lane inhibitor. And East Kentwood Red just can't do anything. They can't answer the top 3 because they're just going to keep pushing. We have the Fiora ult down on the Rakan, not able to get it. Fiora looks a little too hard in the paint again and goes down with a quadra kill going out for the East Kentwood Red bot lane. Now everything here is in these 2 champions. Fiora on the black and Xayah on the red. If Xayah has the opportunity to not get hard engaged on by Zac and Ziggs and Morgana, if she's able to kite around that team fight while the rest of the team whittles down Fiora, whittles down Yuumi, gets some key ults out of those 2, then Xayah might be able to look for a fight here. But the issue is, every day of the week, Xayah is still losing to Fiora in the one-on-one. If Fiora ever finds her way onto Xayah, unless Xayah has a perfectly timed ult and Fiora's repost is down, Xayah cannot ever answer this Fiora. So we're just going to see here, East Kentwood Black is going to continue to try to do their hard press style of gameplay. They're going to want to get Zac, they're going to want to get Fiora and Morgana and Yuumi hard pressed into here as we see the exhaust coming down into, and another kill before I can even finish my sentence onto the Cassiopeia. Yumi's going in. Ragnarok has to be popped to avoid the root. Doesn't matter. Fiora's able to pick up the kill on the Olaf. Jack's going in here. Heals, absolute huge heals coming out on the Fiora, and nothing can happen. Quadra kill for the Fiora as it's an early kill, early inhibitor, an early final kill onto the Nexus from the backdoor Ziggs. What a way to end the first game. Now this was the story of 2 very, very, very strong teams and champions here. We saw the Fiora carry, we saw the Xayah try to carry and just wasn't able to do anything. So that was all she wrote. Game 1 in the books here. We're going to take a step away for a time to give you guys some music, some chill vibes as we move and get ready for Game 2. Hope to see East Kentwood Red take it back, get a win, so we can push this to Game 3. We'll see what happens. I'll be with you guys in just a moment.
chances. One out of a million will reach those heights. Always had a feeling that I won't deny that one. Never could toss. Look in my eyes, I'm on the rocks. Rise. A couple milli now, I'm causing a commotion. I've been coasting, hear my name around the world like an explosion.
We are the apocalypse, and a path that keeps us floating. As we fly above the stars, the hype won't scare us falling. So rise up. Eyes too great to be landed. Rise up. Way too great to be standing.
They not gonna stop us, fly by them like choppers. Better took those risks, hold one of my fists, we fire starters. Let's go. One out of a million will reach those heights. Always had a feeling that I won't deny that one. Never could toss. Look in my eyes, I'm on the rocks. Rise.
All right, and we're back here getting ready to load in for game 2 between East Kentwood Black and East Kentwood Red. Now, we saw a huge win coming out from East Kentwood Black in a very honestly short game. We saw a lot of kills going back and forth, and it was the story of two game styles, right? We saw the top-centric Fiora carry style that East Kentwood Black wanted to play. They put every egg in that basket, and if it went sour, that game feels so different for them. But luckily for them, Fiora was able to get every advantage in the lane and take every advantage into the mid lane or mid game as she transitioned, and we saw that huge misplay from East Kentwood Red where they sent half their team to the mid lane, half their team to the top lane, and nobody was answering the Fiora in the side lane. She was able to get bot inhibitor turret, bot inhibitor, bot inner turret, and a Nexus turret because East Kentwood Red was so desynced on trying to answer that. So we're going to see if East Kentwood Red has any answer to that. Maybe a Yuumi ban, maybe a Fiora ban here as we move into Champion Select. And here we are. And we see the early Fiora ban coming out from East Kentwood Red, now on the blue side. East Kentwood Black taking up the red side position that East Kentwood Red fulfilled last game. And we see another Zillion ban coming out from East Kentwood Black. They probably know something we don't here. Probably strong in some scrims that they played. East Kentwood Black, or East Kentwood Red, maybe strong in that. And we see them actually ban out both sides of the Fiora Yuumi matchup. So what this means to me is that, in my opinion, you could ban out one or the other of these two picks, right? You ban out the Yuumi, all of a sudden Fiora isn't as enabled in the side lanes to make every play that she wants. She still has as much sustain as she would normally, but you know, she doesn't have all the extra utility, all the extra movement speed, and those little extra heals that come out from the Yuumi as well as the extra damage. You ban out the Fiora of this, and all of a sudden you don't have the Yuumi's. The Yuumi doesn't have as good of a target as Fiora to maybe jump on. You're going to be ended up left with maybe like an Olaf and try to put your eggs into the Olaf carry basket or something else like that. But we see another Lulu ban here from East Kentwood Red, really looking to cut down on the enablers that East Kentwood Black could draft here. Now, there are a ton of champions that can fill the enabler spot. Janna or Karma. These are two champions that can be played just as well to enable strong carry champions, just not at the same level that a Lulu or a Yuumi could. We see the Cassiopeia ban coming down. That really was what helped East Kentwood Red stabilize in the early and mid game, with all of those 1v1 kills onto the Zac coming out of the Cassiopeia. We see a lock in here. Leona for East Kentwood Red is going to be our first pick of game 2. Now again, East Kentwood Black did win the first game. If you're just joining us, it was a very strong finish from East Kentwood Black as a Fiora Yuumi combo just absolutely took over the game. Now we're going to see coming in here some picks. Kassadin looks like to be coming in for East Kentwood Black. Now, just like Fiora, very strong late game carry. If you leave the Kassadin unchecked, he will run absolutely rampant through your back line until he gets back to your front line and takes them out too. Not as strong in the side lane, but able to play a little bit more safe than the Fiora with his Rift Walks, having a little more agency in the side lanes. And we see another Zac pick here coming in. Now, curious to see if East Kentwood Red chooses to go with the Olaf again. Isn't banned and offered a ton of early game pressure onto the Zac. Really kept them down. Shyvana here being hovered. Just like the Olaf, very strong clearing speeds, able to match a ton to the Zac. But it looks like we're going to go over to the Nidalee, and again, a very strong early game clearer, and they baited me 3 times. We're onto the Trundle. Curious here, doesn't quite fill the role that those other 2 champions that they hovered would have. And now Trundle, still a strong duelist in the jungle. If Zac goes toe-to-toe against Trundle, Trundle's still going to win that matchup every time. Now, the issue is Trundle's clear speed not as strong as the other 3 champions that could have been picked here. The Olaf, the Nidalee, or the Shyvana. Without either of those strong clearers, Trundle's going to have a harder time getting into Zac's jungle if that is something they desire. And Camille picked up here for the player who played Fiora in the last game. Looks like Camille going to the top lane, Kassadin going to the mid game or to the mid lane, and it looks like this time we're going to see a little more spread out carry potential. Camille very strong in her own right, but again we're going to probably see a 1-3-1 comp coming out from East Kentwood Black, where East Kentwood Red held a very strong team fight 4-1, straight up 5v5 comp, with the Jax being their only really strong side lane presence. Though we did see the Olaf move into that side lane a couple times. We see the Xayah ban, Morgana ban coming out from East Kentwood Red, Renekton ban, and Caitlyn ban. And I know that Alanius in the East Kentwood Red team is a very strong Renekton player. He's been playing this champ throughout our tournament the last 3 years. So understanding throwing that ban his way, so he's got no agency in the lane from that champion. We see a Soraka coming in, and again, it looks like I said, East Kentwood Black going with the exact same strategy. We're going to try to heal, sustain, and enable our solo laners to absolutely carry these games. And we see another disgustingly strong 5v5 comp coming out of East Kentwood Red. Now, if East Kentwood Black is unable to gain those early advantages and transition them to mid-game lane, like side lane presence power, then we're going to see Kennen, Orianna, Misfortune, Trundle, Leona, these huge gameplay team fight turning ultimates just come out and decimate East Kentwood Black. Whereas East Kentwood Black pulling in a Senna for the bot lane carry. We have Senna, Soraka just doing the exact same thing that happened last time, though this time a little more agency to get in from the Leona and Misfortune onto the Soraka Senna. So they're a little more kill pressure than the Rakan Xayah had on the Yuumi Morgana last game. So if bot lane can get some early advantages and mid lane can get advantages on the Kassadin and keep them down, then we should see a pretty straightforward game out of East Kentwood Red. It's all on East Kentwood Black to make the plays, to pull the team apart and get into the sidelines and generate that pressure. If they're not doing that, they're not going to be able to win this game. We've got just a couple seconds on loadout. We're going to be sending you guys to commercial break. I will see you in just a moment.
Asiago butter. Honey, look at this. 40,000 flavor combinations, and I've had almost every one. Asiago, butter, cheese, Cajun. The flavored crust combinations are endless. It's the greatest thing that ever happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
To get more pizza? Yeah.
No, to call your mother. Wow.
Don't go. I need that equation.
Now get a meal deal to fit any budget at the home of flavored crust.
Hungry?
I admit it. I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lawrence Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
All right, we're back and loading onto the Rift here with Game 2 of East Kentwood Red and East Kentwood Black. Now, if you're just tuning in here, East Kentwood Black did take the Game 1 here with a very strong 1-4 comp where we saw, or 2-3 comp really, where we saw Yumi and Fiora pushing into the side lanes together and able to just gain every advantage that they could. And here we're going to see East Kentwood Black. East Kentwood Black is going to be playing around with a very similar strategy here. East Kentwood Black looking to move Kassadin and Camille into the side lanes while Zach, Soraka, and Senna provide assistance from the mid lane and just stymie the bleeding that's going to generally happen when you're running 1-3-1. On the opposite side, East Kentwood Red is playing the same thing they did in the first game, looking at the same kind of composition, a strong 5v5 front-to-back team fight. where Kennan's going to want to go in with the Orianna ball, get strong Orianna shockwaves, and MF and Leona layer their ultis across the top. Now the issue with that is if you're expending all these ultis on just a Zac, Senna, and Soraka, you are still going to have to deal with Camille and Cassidy in the side lane. And honestly, there isn't much here in the way of answering these side lane pushes that Ace Kentwood Red has. Kennan's going to lose to Camille in the side lane. Kennan's going to lose to Cassidy in the side lane. Orianna's absolutely going to lose, as we see an early kill or early push here onto the bot lane, looking to get an early advantage. Nothing really to gain here. No stun for the Leona. So just a couple damage traded away. Easily going to be healed back by a Senna and Soraka. So we're going to see some trading back. Oh, Camille actually here in the mid lane with Cassidy in the top lane. Interesting lane swap strategy, as it looks like these two players think that they can get a little bit more of an advantage if they're playing out differently. So we're going to see here, just like I was saying, just some front to back team fighting as we move into the mid to late game. But it's all going to be on Black to make sure they have the advantages in the side lane. As we see another engage here, stun down, E-root down. Just a good chunk of damage coming out from the MF Leona lane. And like I was saying in Champion Select, these two champions have a lot more kill pressure, a lot more agency in this lane than Xayah Rakan did in the last one. Not because Xayah and Rakan don't have a lot of agency in the lane, but just due to the nature of the matchup they were playing. Yumi Morgana with black shields, healing, and all of the roots that come out from those two champions just absolutely negate everything that Xayah Rakan want to do. They are very telegraphed when they're going in. Rakan goes E onto the Xayah, W's onto their carries, E's back to Xayah, or stays in and just dumps out some damage. Here, we're going to be able to see Leona much doing the same thing. Telegraphed E ins, Q's, just some damage done, but without the added backup of a black shield that East Kentwood Black employed last game, they're not going to be able to pull the same strategy out. Now here we're seeing the Soraka is going to be the farmer in the bot lane. We're seeing a very, very just solid plays here from the top lane. Nothing too much to be said on this. Just Kennen pushing in Cassidy due to the nature of being a ranged into melee matchup. Cassidy's not going to be able to offer much. Kennen's just going to push him in. Hopefully Cassidy can get some farm under tower and stabilize that. Even though he does have a CS advantage here, surprisingly so, as Kennan's pushing them in. And again, same thing we're seeing in the mid lane. Orianna pushing in the Camille, gaining that advantage that Kennen should have in the top lane. Now, unlike last game, we are seeing whiffed E on the Leona, not able to get that engage onto the Soraka. Would have been huge damage to keep them down, even though these two are going to continue to sustain each other. But we're seeing the same tactics pulled in from last game, where they try to invade onto the weak early game Zac. The issue here is, as we see plays being pulled down, Camille goes in on the Trundle, Orianna E shield onto the Trundle, and it looks like Trundle is going to walk out. Zac has to flash away. Blast Cone, flash from the Trundle onto the Blast Cone, is able to follow that Blast Cone. No answer here from East Kentwood Black. Going to be another quick kill. Teleport from the Cassidy onto the Zac. Zac revives, Cassidy comes in. Camille comes in. That was a double TP onto that, and it's actually going to be Zac who picks up the early first blood onto the Trundle with a massive outplay from East Kentwood Black. Now what I was saying was East Kentwood Red is trying to employ the same strategy they did last time. Invade onto the weak early game Zac, but the issue is they don't have the same advantages they had last time. Olaf much faster in his early game clears than Trundle. Had Trundle gotten to that camp just a little bit faster, he would have been able to take the camp, back out, denying the camp to Zac without ever having to risk his life. Camille able to move a lot faster than Ziggs was able to. And this time, having the double TP, able to save, as we see a gank coming down onto the bot lane. Nothing they're going to be able to do here. Heals coming out, but it's not enough. Soraka goes down to the Trundle gank. As we see another gank here in the mid lane. Zach goes in, Orianna shockwave down, TP coming in from the Kennen. We'll see if they can turn anything around, but it looks like the play's already dead before it even got started. Kennen just going to throw out a shuriken, walk away, recall, go back to base, and go on. Oh, looks like he's going to lend some assistance to the bot lane. As they did get that kill, they can transition to the Mountain Drake, get that early Mountain Drake kill down. So we see much of the same early game strategies play out from these two teams. Stabilized top lane, or top laner attempting to stabilize. We see the jungler come in for early ganks, early damage, early invades from East Kentwood Red, early Drake picked up. And the game's playing out the same way, and it's going to be on East Kentwood Red to make sure that Camille and Cassidon aren't enabled in the side lanes the same level that Fiora was. You're going to see Zach clear out of the jungle here as the lanes just move back into that lull state that you have in between games. We're looking to set up the late part of the laning phase here, where we might see a transition from the bot lane of East Kentwood Red back up to the top. It's what we saw last game, and it's what we see generally come out from pros, where the bot lane transitions up to the top as we see another gank coming down on the bot lane. Trundle comes in, pillar onto Soraka. Soraka still no flash, nothing she can do. Another kill down, but another gank comes in to the mid lane as we see MF ult and Trundle dive, but we did not get the kill onto the Senna, living with just a sliver of health, but not the same news for the mid laner of East Kentwood Red. Orianna going down to the repeat gank, and it's exactly the same thing we saw just 3 minutes ago, where Zach goes to the mid lane, Trundle goes to the bot lane. We get a kill in the bot lane, an attempted gank in the mid lane, except this time the gank worked out. Camille's gaining that advantage, getting the tower plates, and not able to solidify the advantage that we saw last time. Zach going in on the Kennen. Kennen's just able to E away. No further plays able to be made here, but Kennen is dangerously low. If Cassidon's able to charge up his Rift Walk, we could see way more damage than the Kennen's able to deal with come out in a very quick burst from the Cassidon, as he does play that assassin role here. So we've seen the tables switch, Rift Walk in, W down, Q down, and next just another burst onto the Kennen. Kennen has to be careful because just in 8 seconds, Cassidon's going to be able to do the exact same thing. We didn't see the transition up. We should have seen, if East Kentwood Red wanted to play around the Rift Herald, we had to have seen the transition, but Leona and MF are already going down to the bot lane. So it looks like we're not going to see that early play around the Rift Herald that we saw last time. No advantages gained, and it looks like everything's going East Kentwood Black's favor. Now this game is shaping up very much the same way Game 1 did, except with one key difference: the mid lane. Last game, we saw a huge advantage for the Cassiopeia as Zach over and over got 1v1 by Cassidon trying to hold that wave for Ziggs. This time, Zach goes to the mid lane before the mid laner gets pushed out, gets early pressure on the Orianna, and is able to get that early kill. Now East Kentwood Red has one less lane of power to look for advantages with that they had last game. As we see Zach moving his way down towards the bot lane. Woo! I assume that there was a flash there? Nope. Looks like both flashes were down from the Senna and Soraka, so that is just a missed opportunity from the Leona in the bot lane there. Could have been huge if they had picked it, but Zach was waiting in the wings. If that trade took too long, Zach comes in, easily turns it around for a 2v2 kill, or a 3v2 kill. So maybe Leona happy she didn't end up hitting that ult, though she had no idea that Zach was down there waiting in the wings. And we're going to see Kennen pushing the Kassadin in again, so not able to gain as much of a farm advantage as he would like, missing a lot of early CS, getting a lot of it now, but Kassadin is able to clear the waves very easily with his Nether Pulse and Rift Walk. Camille going in on the Orianna, 1v1, Orianna ball down, Zac goes in, able to get the pullback. Camille's flash after the Orianna, but Camille is down. Late Senna ulti, not able to get the shield down. Shield onto the Trundle, speed up, goes onto the Zac. Trundle pillar down. Zac has nowhere to go. Zac passive gets popped, but we're not going to be able to see any further play go down as Zac is completely under his tower. It'll take much too long to kill him as Soraka moves up, just in case they decided to go with it. A 1-for-0 trade onto for East Kentwood Red from a play that was started by East Kentwood Black. Camille going in on the Orianna, thinking that they could get the 1v1 trade or early 1v1 kill with Zac waiting in the wing. As East Kentwood Black decides to continue pressuring, Camille comes in, Leona has no health, Leona's down, kill for the Soraka, as another trade is going on in the top lane, Kennen ult down, looking to pressure the Kassadin. Kassadin has to walk away, stun onto the Kassadin, and nothing else to be gained there in the top lane as East Kentwood Black moves onto the Dragon with their 1 kill advantage. So an extended 1-for-1 between these two teams, kill onto the support, kill onto the mid laner, and both teams are just going to walk away. East Kentwood Black for the better as they were able to pick up the Ocean Drake. East Kentwood Red dropping that Rift Arrow that they picked up earlier in the game from the Trundle, dropping into the mid lane. Zac going in, not really looking to do anything, but the Trundle pillar comes down, denying the Zac's out, and it looks like just from the slows and the Orianna damage and the Trundle damage, they were able to pick up that 2v1 kill. Zac doing the same thing he did in the first game, jumping in to help preserve some form of wave control, some form of damage onto their mid tower, and dying for it. Zac ease in, he has nothing else to do. Trundle pillar denying any kind of out. He had no flash from the earlier play, no cellular regeneration from the earlier play. Camille's going in on the Trundle here. Looks like this is going to be just a whack back and forth, though we see Kassadin and Rift walk over the wall. Trundle sees it, moves away, knows he can't win that fight. We have a 2-man advantage here onto the Camille. Orianna shockwave from the Kennen. Kennen still doesn't have ult from that play earlier. Just a couple more seconds till it comes up. But another pick onto the Camille. This is going everything in the favor of East Kentwood Red. Everything they needed to do. Keep the side lane power down. Camille not able to get an advantage. Kassadin down in farm, no early kills. This is what East Kentwood Red wants to see. Now they're 3-man stacked onto the turret, getting some huge gold advantages, and we see that lead balloon into a 3k gold lead at only 18 minutes, 16 minutes into this game. This is a huge advantage for East Kentwood Red, as their bot lane has a CS advantage, 50 CS up. Mid lane has a CS advantage, 40 CS. Top lane has a CS advantage, 10 CS up. Jungle has a CS advantage, 10 CS up. East Kentwood Red looking to transition this power into the mid game and shore up their weaknesses that they had in the last one. You see Kassadin and Kennen just trading wave clears back and forth, and Camille's moving down to the side lanes so that East Kentwood Black can set up their 1-3-1 pressure. Now, as much as Camille is down in farm and MF is up in farm, MF is still down as we see Leona move up, stun onto the Kassadin, E onto the Kassadin, nothing they can do, Rift walks away, under the tower dive, Senna ult comes in, Soraka ult comes in, Kassadin just walks it out. And this is what East Kentwood Black drafted for. Put people in the side lanes and have everybody else on the team support what they want to do. That can move around very quickly with his E-slingshot, can easily get to the side lanes if a fight is about to break out. Senna and Soraka can assist from the mid lane, from the bot lane, wherever they are on the map to give those side lanes those extra utilities, the shield from the Senna, the heal from the Soraka. And even though every advantage was thrown East Kentwood Red's favor in that fight, with the early Leona stun, second stun, E-root, all of the Kennen ulti damage down, another stun down, Kassadin just gets the Rift walk away, and nothing comes of it. As we see the red buff going on to the MF, another fight breaking out in the top lane. Zach's going in. Trundle's able to pillar him down, get some bites down, chomps down, and that's going to be another kill for the Zach Oriana. Still exerting her pressure onto the Camille. Camille ult onto the Oriana, but nothing they can do as Oriana gets the 1v1 kill with Leona there to back up just in case they needed it. And East Kentwood Black unable to find the advantages when their ults are down. Senna ult, Soraka ult, very long cooldowns, and without those utility ultis up, they are just losing out in the side lane. Imagine that fight between Oriana and Camille, but this time with a Senna ult shield and a Soraka wish heal on top of that. All of a sudden, Camille's able to get off another rotation, second rotation. We have Leona ult whiffed onto the Senna as Senna has to flash away from that. Good reaction time on the Senna to get away from that. If that ult hits, the MF damage and the Leona utility stun CC is going to be much too much, and Senna would have dropped, but that's not the case. Senna gets the flash away, not saving that for the next game. We see East Kentwood Red here, moving on to the Rift Herald, hoping to take their second Rift Herald of the game. Zach's on the bot side of the map, Trundle's in the mid lane, Kennan's looking for some damage, some poke. And it looks like it's just MF and Leona on the Rift Herald right now. Just taking it with the added damage that comes from being able to proc that eye on the back. Leona's going to move over to that side, proc the eye will die, and that will be a Rift Herald picked up for Team East Kentwood Red. And we saw East Kentwood Black looking to start up the Dragon when they heard that the Rift Herald was taken, figuring maybe possibly more players were on that, or more champions were on that side of the map. Not the case. Trundle was sitting right there. Oriana was sitting right there. Camille goes in. Zach goes in. Huge damage, huge burst. Kessin goes in, takes out the MF. Kenan ulti in the back isn't able to do enough as East Kentwood Red or East Kentwood Black is just able to sustain over and over and over again. Kessin's running rampant in this team fight, able to take out a triple kill onto the Kenan and onto the Trundle. Another kill onto the Oriana, and that is an 8th for 0, going the favorite East Kentwood Black. Wow. East Kentwood Black found everything they wanted in that team fight. Champions out of position. Camille's able to zone Oriana away. Oriana's not able to get her shockwave into the fight. Cassidy finding his way, flash ulti right into the backline. Or sorry, just ulti right into the backline. Takes out MF before she can do anything. MF ult's up. Leona's ult's up. Kenan used his ult, got in there, but wasn't able to do anything with it. People were stunned. Soraka still got her ult off. Senna still got her ult off. Huge shielding, huge healing. And the team that drafted a team fight 5v5 front to back comp loses out to the team that drafted a 1-3-1 just due to the nature of how the team fight played out. Now East Kentwood Black is in the driver's seat. They've got 2 Drakes. Camille's going in on Leona. Leona's all by herself. Zach comes in. Trundle comes in. TP coming in from the Kenan. This looks to be another fight. Stun onto the Zach. Kenan comes in. Kenan's going to kill him off. Zach passes him down. That will be a kill for the Oriana. Now we see East Kentwood Red 5-man stacked onto this turret as East Kentwood Black is looking to move to answer. Cassin's coming top. Camille's in the flank. Soraka is in the mid lane clearing. And Sen is up there as well with them. Whiffed ulti again from the Leona. Not able to find its target. Rift Herald dropped. They took that earlier, just before that dragon fight broke out. They're going to be able to get another tower advantage here. Now, East Kentwood Black can look to push this Rift Herald back in. They're going to look to instead move onto the Camille, who's able to hook shot away, blast cone away, Trundle slow, but with all of the utility that comes from Camille and her kit, eating away Wing for the slow, blast cone she's able to get out. As East Kentwood Black looks to move in here onto the Misfortune. Misfortune has the exhaust down onto the Camille. Misfortune all over the top. Kill onto the Kenan on the backside there. Rift walk in from the Cassidy. Cassidy is able to find his target, knocks them down, and Leona's going to go down here for sure, sacrificing herself for the good of the rest of the team as Kenan dies and Leona dies for just Camille on East Kentwood Black. Cassidy is continuing his chase into the jungle. Not going to be able to find Trundle. Trundle's able to easily escape here. Oh, but Trundle turns around to look onto the blue buff, and Cassidy's able to get a Rift Walk in. Looks like Cassidy might look to go a little further. Nope, under the tower, doesn't want to go. 3 very low health targets have to walk away. If Cassidy was able to find that Rift Walk, find that Nether Pulse, 0 chance any of those champions survive that combo. And Senna and Soraka look to break down this turret for East Kentwood Black. Going to be their first turret of the game, getting that mid lane turret down. Engage going down here in the mid lane. Sorry, I got some messages I had to deal with. Alright, another fight breaking out. Cassidy Rift walks in. Camille goes in. Ult down onto the MF. MF stuck in the middle. Nothing she can do. Cassidy another pulse. And just a quick, easy kill. This Cassidy doing the same thing that happened in the first game with the Fiora. Running rampant. This Cassidy is able to get every advantage. Kennan's still looking to trade 2v3. Cassidy goes in, but they're able to get the shutdown. Kennan's looking to die here, though. Wish coming out from the Soraka. Senna's not able to find any damage. And there is a quick kill for the Camille. Camille's still in. Not able to get the heal from the Senna. Dies, and looks like a flash there from Leona. Getting a double kill for the Orianna. Overall, a 3-4-3 there. Trade in the mid lane. Chat pointed out a good thing here. MF picked up the Executioner's Calling, which is a huge item. You want to see that Grievous Wounds whenever a team has Soraka or a Senna, let alone both. Though, didn't pick it up early enough in the game to turn that early team fight into their advantage with all of the healing and all of the shielding that came in. East Kentwood Red here looking to move in to the jungle, gain some advantage. Trundle coming in, pillar onto the Soraka. Soraka has nowhere to go, can't do anything, and she's going to be taken out. MF ulti over the top, but it wasn't necessary. Trundle and Orianna get the credit for that kill, and East Kentwood Red looking to take that pressure onto this Drake that just spawned. They're going to set up some sort of death brush. Senna using her ulti to check the Drake, making sure they're there. Sees the Leona, sees the Orianna set up towards the blue buff. Knows that they don't need to walk through the jungle to get there. Knows that they're going to lose that dragon. And that's going to be a Cloud Drake there for East Kentwood Black. Or sorry, East Kentwood Red. So now, the story of the game is going to be this 1-3-1 that East Kentwood Red wants to set up. East Kentwood Black wants to set up. East Kentwood Red's done a good job of constantly forcing team fights. Here's another one. Leona ult misses, just goes a little bit short. Zac eat away, but Soraka gets caught by the Trundle Pillar again, and Soraka goes down. Camille has to back away from the turret, knowing that it's going to be aggroing her. But she's staying there in the bot lane as East Kentwood Red looks to 5-man pile up in the mid lane. And this is what East Kentwood Red has to do. They're running this team fight comp. They have to be piled up, but nobody's there to answer the Camille. In the side lane, Camille is still able to push. So, assuming that East Kentwood Black doesn't lose out too much here in the mid lane, they are going to be steadily gaining the advantage. Solo EXP on the Camille. Solo gold onto the Camille. Camille's already on bot lane inner turret. And still, nobody is going back for that answer, and she's going to be able to pick up a second turret. The only thing that was answered was the kill onto the Soraka and the mid lane inner turret. 2 turrets for a kill and a turret. Seems to be an even play, but Camille's just going to be able to do this over and over and over again. It's not always going to be certain that East Kentwood Red is going to be able to get those picks onto the Soraka, be able to get those 5-man pushes onto turrets. Camille is going to be constantly able to move into side lane, and if she can't, Cassidy can. So it's going to be on East Kentwood Red. When you're in a 5-man comp like this, you want to pressure the Baron. Ping's going on to the Baron. Both teams understand this is going to be the next point of pressure. Camille's moving back to the side lane. Camille has TP available in just a little bit. Probably around 1 minute left on that cooldown as we see East Kentwood Black 5-man stack onto the Kassadin. Kassadin just absolutely blown up before he can do anything. And this should be a Baron opportunity for East Kentwood Red. They need this Baron. They need to be able to answer the side lanes. They need to be able to pressure the map in a way that doesn't allow East Kentwood Black to 1-3-1 them. Looks like East Kentwood Black setting up to attempt some sort of fight here. Leona in the back just trying to negate. And all eyes on Zach. See if he can go in. Zach in. Ult down from the Leona stuns. Nobody's dead yet. There goes the smite onto the Baron. Trundle secures the Baron, kills onto the Senna, kills onto the Zach in a huge fight from East Kentwood Red, taking every advantage they can. 5k gold up, 6 kills up, and they have the Baron on all 5 and can look to pressure. Exhaust onto the Camille, stun onto the Camille. Camille able to flash over the wall, gets out with the Soraka Wish heal. Another heal from the Soraka, though. Yo! What an E from the Leona onto the Soraka, gets to pick up, but Kassadin able to jump over the wall and get the return answer onto the cannon, knocking one of those Baron buffs out. Kassadin looking to flank here and maybe get another pick. Nothing they can do though. As East Kentwood Red 3-man stack onto the inhibitor turret in the top lane. They know that Kassadin is there. Camille's going in. Gets the ult onto the MF. MF stuck in there. Zach goes in. Zach gets the knockup. Kassadin goes in. Kassadin finds the MF. MF is down. And it looks like East Kentwood Red overstayed their welcome. Another kill onto the Leona. Trundle gets out. Orianna looks to be stuck. Flash Riftwalk over the wall. Riftwalk again. And that's going to be another kill from the Orianna. Trundle takes the empowered Baron recall and gets out. But at the loss of everybody on the team. East Kentwood Red just overstaying their welcome. They knew that Kassadin was in the flank. They knew Camille was in the flank. And 3v4 just weren't able to find anything. MF staying just a little too far forward and getting hit by the Camille, getting ulted by the Camille, and then getting knocked up by the Zac. So once that Camille ulti came in, there was nothing MF could do. Now, East Kentwood Red does still have one of the Baron buffs. Trundle did make it out of that fight alive. So they can look to maybe use that Baron buff to pressure one of the lanes, maybe get an advantage so they can transition that over to the Baron, or over to the next Drake that's spawning here in just a moment. We see Trundle stacking up here, looking to maybe make a play. Not able to find anything as Kassadin Rift walks over the wall, not even walking through the bush, not even risking it. As we see the dragon spawning, there's no pressure here in the mid lane for either team. The wave's not moving anywhere, but with East Kentwood Red's pressure from earlier, they're able to get that Cloud Drake. 3 Drakes for East Kentwood Red, putting them on Soul Point. We'll see if East Kentwood Black can answer that either before the Drake spawns or able to get the steal once the Drake spawns, because East Kentwood Red definitely going to be looking to get that permanent buff onto their carries and onto their champions. Kennen moving in even faster, MF being able to move away faster from the Camille engage, Trundle being able to move into the fight faster. So we see a Zac engage, Kennen ult zoning out the backline, huge Kennen ult with that zone, but Camille goes in, finds the MF again, Kassadin goes in, and that is going to be another kill. Kassadin running rampant in the backline, takes out the MF, goes in again, takes out the Orianna, goes in again, takes out the Trundle, goes in again, takes out the Leona. Pentakill for the Kassadin in this mid-game, late-game team fight. What a play here from East Kentwood Black. And nothing that they could do. They couldn't find the Kassadin. Kassadin and Camille came in much too late into that fight. All of the ultis were already burned. Trundle was down, and just nothing they could do. Again, with MF being caught early in these fights and no ulti being able to come out. Imagine an MF ulti layering over the top of that Kennen ult. But again, Camille over and over again finding the priority targets, getting the MF, and just not being able to do anything. Senna, Soraka, doing everything they can to keep their team alive, putting those ultis out and just absolutely sustaining everybody. Heals coming out from the Soraka, heals coming out from the Senna, allowing the Kassadin to just constantly get healed up again and again for more and more Rift Walks onto the team. Looks like East Kentwood Red trying to make a play on the Camille. Leona all comes down, doesn't get the stun, but the E connects. There is the easy kill. 4-man stacked on the Camille. Nothing she could do there. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Kassadin going in. Kennan's going to try to get away here. Wow. All right. Nothing they can do there except, not be there. Kassadin able to double Rift Walk Nether Pulse for the slow and find the easy 1v1 onto the Kennen. I don't think Kennen nor I were expecting that much damage to come out of just Q and auto attack from the Kassadin. This game shaping up much like the last one. East Kentwood Black puts all of their focus onto their carries. Their solo laners are absolutely doing so much in these team fights, while the bot lane of Soraka and Senna this game, Yumi, Morgana last game, add so much support and so much utility to enable these solo laners. And we see East Kentwood Red again not able to match in the team fights, even though East Kentwood Red has drafted a amazing ulti wombo combo front to back 5v5 team. They're not able to do anything as Kassadin jumps over the wall for the Orianna, gets slow, Orianna shockwave comes down, nothing they can do. Kassadin double Rift Walk again, takes out the Orianna, double Rift Walk again, takes on to the Kennen, Kennen ult flash away, and nothing they can do. Soraka ult comes down, healing up the Kassadin again. Leona comes out, doesn't get the stun, Leona goes in on the Kassadin, Kassadin gets the kill on the Kennen, Kassadin gets the kill on the MF, Kassadin is able to assist here on the kill with Zach picking it up on the Leona. That's 4 down on the team of East Kentwood Red. Looks like this is all she wrote, guys. As East Kentwood Red pushes in for their last attempt. Trundle going down. East Kentwood Black taking the victory. Moving. Nexus turret 1 down. Nexus turret 2 down. And that will be the series. East Kentwood Black moving on to the winners grand finals. East Kentwood Red dropping down into losers grand finals to take on Birmingham Legacy later this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, what a game, what a series. East Kentwood Black 2-0 over East Kentwood Red. You saw it here. Now we'll be back. We're going to go ahead, put the stream offline. We'll be back at 2 o'clock for East Kentwood Red versus Birmingham Legacy for the losers grand finals. Winner of this will then move on to play East Kentwood Black in the finals. East Kentwood Red hoping for the redemption as Birmingham Legacy really went through and just made a styling of the losers bracket. Birmingham Legacy lost to Dakota in their first game of the playoffs. They went down to the very beginning of the losers bracket. They have beaten Paw Paw. They have beaten Lloyd Norris. They have beaten Troy Loyalty, and they have beaten Dakota. They've moved all the way through now to the losers grand finals to face East Kentwood Red. Hopefully this will be an amazing series as we see these two teams look to move to the grand finals. My name's Andrew Blanchard. I am the tournament director. Again, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Army Michigan, Hungry Howie's, and of course, Lawrence Tech. They have done so much to fund us and get everything that we've been able to give here to you guys. I appreciate it. Again, we'll be turning off the stream just for a couple hours. We're going to let our teams get some food, get some relaxation. We're going to step away. We'll be back at 2 p.m. with the stream starting, and then shortly after that with the game starting. Catch us back at that time. Have a good one.